It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Grothman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host,
the great and powerful Craig Grothman.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
I thought I heard something strange. I think it said the great and powerful Charles.
No, close.
Did you hear that? I thought that's what it said.
Yeah.
And I'm your co-host, most of the time, certified ethical hacker, the great and powerful Charles.
Charles Tendell. How are you, Charles?
I'm well. See, you know, this is another example of what would you do without me, Craig?
I'd called Ben.
You'd call Ben, but Ben would completely forget this as well. Do you know what happened?
What happened?
You forgot to take the Hangouts live
I did.
seconds before.
Yeah, but I clicked it, so it went live.
No, I clicked it.
Yeah, well, we both clicked it at the same time.
It was me.
It was me. I clicked it.
It was me. So it's Friday. What did I miss the last 2 days?
No, you didn't do that right. It's Friday!
Wait, how's it go again? I'm noticing a severe lack of beverages on my desk. What's up with this? It is Friday. It is Friday, yes.
Okay, and, I see, okay, so there you go. And it is Friday, and it means we're going to have a show reminder winner of the week!
Yay!
And also, let's see what else. So we got lots of things going on. Now you're going to be gone for the next 2 weeks. No, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, I know, but he'll be back. And we're going to be starting after that. We're going to be starting a brand new schedule. So every Monday and Tuesday, Ben is going to be co-hosting with me, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you will be co-hosting with me. And this
is also true.
This starts by the middle of the month of July. And also, we've had a couple of shifts. Instead of our Linux show being on the third Tuesday of the month, Larry Bushy has agreed to move that to the third Thursday of the month, and so we'll have the third Thursday doing our live Linux show. So that will begin in July. So change your calendars. Our All Linux show will be every third Thursday of the month from now on, beginning in the July time frame. Just a couple little shifts, and things and movements and kind of getting things organized. And you didn't get that old movie reference, but we are. I think everything is in full swing. And our guest is with us, and we're going to be starting shortly. So what did you do when you were away, Charles? It was a business thing, right?
It was all business stuff, yeah.
You didn't do anything fun?
No, we went to dinner, but that was about it.
You went to dinner?
Yeah.
What did you go to dinner?
Ruth Chris.
Oh, my man, that's it. That's
Yep.
it. We went there for our anniversary dinner.
It was nice.
Oh, it's really good. You're at Ruth Chris.
You need to. Have you tried the their what is the lobster spicy lobster appetizer?
No, but I tried most of them. What do we have? I love the onion rings there, and they had their we had their crab cakes.
Yes,
that's
really, also good.
Yeah, really good food at Ruth Chris. So, and the steak, you still hear it sizzling as it comes with 1,800 degree ovens. It's really a lot of fun. We save that usually for special occasions.
Yep.
And my way, I'd eat there every day. A special occasion. Okay, well, let's see. Anything else you want to mention before we get started here? Anything else?
I got nothing. I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got nothing. I got nothing.
Okay. Well, our guest tonight is is Michael Miller. He's the author of well over 150 books on technology, such as the Idiot's Guide to Google Plus, my Pinterest, Facebook for Grown-Ups, as well as many other subjects like the Idiot's Guide to Conducting Music and B2B Digital Marketing. Mike is one of our Computer America correspondents who appears here on every last Friday of the month. Boy, isn't it the last Friday of the month already? Mike, welcome into Computer America. How the heck are you?
I am doing fine. How are you, Craig?
Okay, so how are the drums?
Craig was panicking because it was about 5 minutes till the show and I wasn't online. And to be fair, I had, not that I had forgotten, mind you, but a crazy day here where I've got my stepdaughter and her husband and their 3 kids, my 3 grandkids, are moving into our house because he's going back to seminary. He's been working in the church, and you don't make any money when you're going to school, so they need to come stay with us for a while. We got a big house, that's fine. But today was move-in day, so it was just super crazy, and at the end of it, I just had to play the drums, you know. So I was banging away. I was playing to it's a Raggy Waltz by the Dave Brubeck Quartet when you called. So I lose track of time when I'm playing.
No, I understand. I certainly can relate to that. But you're here now, and we're glad to have you with us. And we've got some interesting things we're going to be talking about. One of the things is, if Charles wasn't bothered enough about Bitcoin, we're going to be resurrecting that topic again. We're going to be doing that as well. Now, let me just kind of get this out of the way. If you have a comment or a question or suggestion, or you want to join in on the conversation, we certainly welcome you to participate. Just give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you through. You have any questions about computers and technology or anything related, we'd certainly love to hear from you, maybe even movies. You can also send us an email to live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive add-on chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. Under the first pull-down menu, you'll see it says chat room/video. Because our video page shares the same page as our chat room. Anyway, the chat room will ask you for a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Click the sign-in button, and your Java-enabled browser on a Windows machine, Mac, Linux, they all work, will move you into the Computer America chat room. And sharing that same page is our live Computer America video streaming page. And that's brought to you by, Charles, Otherworld Computing.
Which, by the way, I'm ordering RAM from.
All right.
Did you see my email earlier?
Yes, I did. Quality Products, expert support since 1988. Now celebrating its 25th anniversary. If you have any Mac needs whatsoever,
Mac
needs, yes, exactly. Go to their website at www.macsales.com. We'd love to hear from you. I mean, they've got. If you're looking for, more memory like Charles is, or even you have legacy Macs, they have memory that goes all the way back to 1998 models, up to the current day. They have installation videos that you can watch. They're also expanding. They're adding, some additional videos, like explain things like, what do we mean by an SSD, or what do we mean by Wi-Fi, whatever it is. They're going to have these explanation videos, which I think is really a nice touch. But anything you order with them, anything over $49, you get free ground shipping, and that's like to 80% of the country. That's like 2 days.
Come back, Mike. Come back. Mike's running away from us.
They have their Aura line of solid-state drives. They have a 120 gigabyte drive for $95. $20 more gets you the external case if you want to. They have clearance sales that you would not believe. If you go all the way to the bottom of the page, you'll see the clearance. Click on that, you'll see some incredible deals there. And so just head over there, check out all the great things. You're gonna be happy that you did. MacSales.com, and they of course sponsor our Computer America live video streaming page. So,
Mike, I want to say thank you, because I'm looking at your desk there, and I'm thinking, oh man, I thought my desk was bad.
Yeah.
There is a desk there, isn't it? I love that you have like the little cubby for the laptop.
Well, unfortunately, everyone in my household who has something that needs to be repaired or looked at, or just they don't want anyone else to grab, they put on my desk. So I've got an old Twister game here that needs the dial doesn't work. I have a little flying helicopter thing here which does not anymore.
I've got that exact same one. Did one of the little connectors between the blades break?
No, that's what happened on the previous one. This one, I don't know what's happened yet. The first one, my dad got it for my grandson, Colin, who's 7 years old now. Got it for him for Christmas, and Colin loved it. And he played 5 minutes, and the thing quit. So I got it exchanged. We got the new one. It worked for a couple days, and it quit too. So they're cheap, they're junk, but they're fun.
They're like $8 or $20 or whatever. They're cool.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. No, the reason I actually had to clear off space on my desk was because the Computer America chat room does not work on this particular computer that I have. Keeps giving me the wants to install Java sort of thing. So I have to run the chat room on a different computer than the one that I'm using Google Hangouts on.
Well, why don't you just install Java on the one with Google Hangouts? I don't know.
Oh, I do. It is. And I do again. That's not it. I've had this problem for 6 or 8 months on this one, just with this particular chat room, this particular plugin. I could try and figure it out, but why? When I have another computer that works. So.
Exactly. Easy solution. Turn on.
I've been working with computers for 20-odd years, and I'm all in favor of the drop back 10 and punt solutions as often as possible. We could figure out why it's not doing that, but who the hell cares? Let's just make it work with the workaround.
Well, now before we get started, I got an email from somebody, and I thought we get lots of emails, but I thought this kind of might be interesting to open the show with, because when you go to Computer America under the Contact Us menu, if you click that, you'll see how you can. I mean, it's one way. We have Carissa Green, who's our associate producer and booking goddess, and companies contact this way. But also, you can send us a message on that same page. So if you have a question or a comment you'd like to make, you can also do that. If you don't have to include your email address, you can keep it anonymous if you'd like. So we can do that too. So that's how you communicate with us when we're not live and on the air. And this email. Let me see. This is anonymous because it's from My Computer. So unless the guy was named My Computer, I'm assuming it's anonymous. Okay. And the subject of this email, Charles, is "Forgive me, for I have sinned."
I think I saw this, and I was like, "What? What is this?"
So he says, the message begins, "Once upon a time, there was an update called Windows XP, to which ruined my laptop and started me on my quest to use Linux only.
Ha ha ha.
Then one day,
Uh-oh.
with money to burn and time on my hands, I bought a copy of Windows 8.1 Professional.
Oh, dear God, no.
And for a time, I was happily transferring files between my Slackware 14.0 and Windows 8.1 Professional hard drives. Okay. But now, neither operating system knows the other drive is there. Has anyone out there had this problem, and have they resolved this issue? And if so, how? So there you go. This is from My Computer. He's asking the question. So
Mike, you want to try this one?
You're dealing with one operating system that's a dozen years old, and one that's brand new and doesn't work very well. But it was working at one point and now isn't working. I think the best solution here is to set fire to your house and collect the insurance on it.
That's a simple solution.
You know me, I go for the simple solution.
Set fire to your house and collect the insurance money. Why did you do that? My computer wasn't.
That's awesome.
You know, actually, the simple solution here is to bypass that direct connection and upload all your files to some place like Dropbox, and then download them back to the other computer that way. That'll save some headache. It doesn't solve the problem, but it might get you around the problem.
Right. Okay.
One way to try. Yeah, that's cool.
Charles.
Well, mine is. It sounds like your Linux has lost its NTFS.
That's
how you say drivers. You could probably just look at what kind of error messages you're getting, but without any sort of specifics on it, I can't give you a whole bunch. So what we'll end up doing. This is 2011. What we'll end up doing is we need a little more information on it, but it just sounds like you're losing your drivers. In Mike's defense, it is probably the easiest way just to get something like Dropbox, upload and download, or put them in a sync scenario to go there, and that might work. But it sounds like your configuration is 2 separate computers, or you've got you're dual booting. There's a lot more complexity there. So shoot us another email with some more detail of what you got, and I can probably give you a better answer.
And here is a lesson to all of you who want to communicate with us and you have questions, and that is, if you have a question like this or that's similar to it and you have a problem, you need to give us more information. Give us all the information about your system, what it is that you're running, because the more information you give us, the better a chance that we have to help you. Because if not, if you don't tell us, well, I have this kind of system running this, I'm running that, and I'm running. The less you give us, the more difficult it is for us to help you. So when you ask a question like this, give us more information about what it is that you have. So we'd love to hear back from you again, but just give us that info, and then we'll see what best we can do. Something might stand out, and we'll say, "Oh, yeah, you need to do this or do that."
Here's the thing. I've been working, trying to solve people's computer problems for 2 decades, and it has gotten a lot more complex over the decades because the number of possible combinations and permutations has just increased exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a book, probably 20 years ago now, around 1992, 1993. Called Oops, What to Do When Things Go Wrong with Your Computer. And it sold a ton. The thing sold about 100,000 copies back then. But I could actually do it in a book. I could take one book that was about 400, 500 pages long or so, and put in most of the common troubleshooting things that people needed to deal with back then. This was actually right pre-Windows. This was at the end of the DOS days. But today, if you were to write a troubleshooting book that attempted to include every possible scenario, what would that'd be like a 4,000-page book, and I'm not sure that would cover everything. It's just it's difficult now.
It'd be a simple book, actually. It would be unplug computer, remove children from home, set fire to home, collect insurance money.
There we go. That is my all-purpose solution, and it does work in most cases. Yeah, assuming you have insurance. If you don't have insurance, then we're up the creek there.
Please remember that the opinions and views are those of the co-hosts and guests of the Computer America Show.
But honestly, these days, there are some common things. There are some bugs we know about in Windows. There's some, there's simple stuff to check. But other than once you get past that, it starts getting complex really, really quick. Now, granted, a lot, checking your cables and rebooting the computer solves about 90% of anybody's problems. But once you get past that, you're down into this granular area of troubleshooting that's just, it can cause, a technician to pull what Harry has out of his head,
Mm-hmm. All right, well, so that's our suggestion to you. And again, if you give us more information, we might be able to help you out even more. Okay? So, as always, I always ask Mike what you want to talk about for his 2 hours here on the show, and one of the things that you had suggested to us was to basically revisit the Bitcoin discussion.
Bitcoin.
Get Charles's opinions on the whole thing, and so I say, all right, we can start with that because Charles certainly likes to talk about Bitcoin. We had, by the way, on last night's show, we had Epson on in the first hour, very illuminating. Then in the second hour, we had a company called MaidSafe. Nick Lambert from MaidSafe. He's a chief operating chief. Did I say cheap? Chief operating officer. He could be the chief operating officer, but he's the
I've known some of those, yeah.
Exactly, operating officer for MaidSafe, calling in from Scotland last night, and he was talking about what they're doing to have a privacy-friendly successor to today's internet, using some of the techniques of distributed processing. So basically, no servers. It's everybody's individual computers kind of comprising this new internet replacement. So that was really
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and I wish you'd heard about it. We talked a little bit of that, and we also talked about ProXPN, one of our sponsors, and how that helps you to keep your anonymity going. But it was an interesting discussion last night. But getting back to this, Mike had suggested we talk. But one of the things that they had, by the way, the reason I brought that up was they had something called SafeCoin, which is yet another open source based type of currency that you use when you use the internet. You actually get paid in SafeCoin for the more people that, and then you can go out and mine SafeCoin. And it was very, very similar to Bitcoin, and it was kind of an interesting discussion. But getting back to today, Mike, you wanted to kind of talk about Bitcoin again. Actually, you want to hear more for Charles. I mean, why did you want to bring up Bitcoin?
Well, I know that this is a particular topic of interest to Charles, and I mean, you said last month that when we were talking about, too bad that Charles couldn't be here because he would have a lot of input. So
Ben was with me that last month.
Yeah. Charles was off chasing rabbits or something. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
But I'm in the middle of writing a book about Bitcoin. I mean, I'm a bit of a novice on it, other than being an expert enough to write a book. But it's a topic that certainly there's a lot of speculation, and no pun intended, about Bitcoin. Right, left, and up the middle on it. And I mean, what do you feel about Bitcoin, Charles? Here's a question I ask in my book. One, should the reader be dealing with it, and if so, what readers should be dealing with it? Who is it geared for? Who should be dealing with it now? And what is it? Is it a currency? Is it just a means of speculation or investment right now, or is it something else? I mean, how do you view the whole thing?
Well, hopefully I get credit in a book. That'd be great. I'd love that. But no, the bottom line with Bitcoin is it is like dealing with cash on the internet, but the users who should be more interested in using it, utilizing it, playing with it, having any times with it, it's still not to the point where it's very simple yet. So it still requires you have to purchase Bitcoin, you have to get a Bitcoin wallet, you have to do all these different things. So it does require some shifting. So it does require a little bit of effort on the consumer's part. It does require probably someone who's familiar with it to hand-hold you through the initial setup process. But there are different places like coin.mx that lets you almost instantly buy Bitcoin. Like you can buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin through them through a quick little verification process. It's all done on the computer and all done, in a matter of about 20 minutes. And now you've got Bitcoin, and you can send Bitcoin, you can receive Bitcoin, you can download the app on your phone to be able to make Bitcoin purchases in places. And basically, what it is it's designed to center around the technology that you have. In my opinion, now the biggest thing is you always hear about people saying, oh, Bitcoin's unsecure and blah blah blah, propaganda. Mt. Gox got hacked. Mt. Gox got hacked because their developers were stupid. Bitcoin. Whenever you hear about Bitcoin getting hacked, you hear about Bitcoin trading platforms getting hacked. You hear about people finding ways to mine things. But this is an early currency. It's more secure than dealing with your credit card online because it can be completely anonymous. The only way that the person knows that they received a Bitcoin payment from you is you send them a transaction ID. And they're like, oh, great. or you just bought something in real time, you take out your phone, you send it, you scan a QR code, you hit go, and your Bitcoin purchase is complete. It's a really good, really robust system that can be used for an infinite amount of things. It just needs to be fine-tuned and adjusted more so that it's not as scary as people think it is.
Well, to me, you've got a couple issues on it. The one that you brought up is the apparent complexity of it right now. And this is something that's going to get easier over time. I mean, it's easier to deal in Bitcoin today than it was a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And it's going to get even easier as we've got, some new companies coming into it to make it easier, to make the trading a little bit easier. We also have more and more online retailers who are accepting Bitcoin. I mean, what's one of the latest one? Expedia, I believe, announced that they were going to accept Bitcoin.
Yes, Expedia now accepts it.
Yeah, and of course Overstock.com does, Tiger Direct does, several others do. But that's one issue, and I think, as you said, over time it's just going to get easier as more companies get involved. We've already seen more venture capital firms, getting involved in Bitcoin companies. So there's a coming boom in dealing with Bitcoin, I think. To me, the bigger challenge, though, is if we want to use it as a currency, okay? It's a currency which is really kind of unstable right now in terms of its pricing. Since I've been writing the book, the value has been playing around between $500 and $600 per Bitcoin. And, that's a fairly big range. I mean, it's like saying, okay, I've got a Bitcoin. I got one Bitcoin, and I want to buy a TV. Well, today that TV is going to cost 1 Bitcoin. Tomorrow that TV is going to cost 1.2 Bitcoin. It's just in terms of being a stable currency in terms of valuation, I think that's an issue right now.
Well, you're right. You're right, but let's rewind back to the openings of just about any currency in any country. The dollar, earlier when the early onset of paper and tangible currencies, the problem was each bank was issuing their own notes in different values. They were doing it one way or the other, and what was a value at this bank may not be the same value at another bank, and they were just as weird and finicky as there until we had this unification moment where the Fed took over it. Now, the purpose with Bitcoin is not to have the Fed, control this currency. It's supposed to be ungoverned, and it's supposed to be, no one is supposed to have, a direct control over it. But you're right, it does fluctuate, and that's part of what makes it fun. I get, $25 worth of Bitcoin tomorrow. That same $25 is going to be, $30, or it could be, $10.
That's right.
But I'm not sure the average person wants their money to be fun.
Right. Well, until it becomes stable, right? Until it becomes a stable idea, and it becomes more widely adopted, and we stop having institutions try and belittle it and stop it and ignore it and do all that other stuff. Until that happens, it's not going to stabilize. I mean, it has stabilized somewhat. I mean, we what was it? Not even 4 months ago, it was $1,000 for 1 Bitcoin, And now we're not bouncing at $500 increments. We're bouncing at $100 increments. And as soon as someone like Amazon or Walmart picks up the Bitcoin idea, you're going to see this thing just level out, and you're going to see a lot of people start being happy with it and actually more widely adopting it. That's my opinion.
Well, I agree with you. So now but then the question is, when is that, and what should someone do today? I look at it today. My advice in the book is, look, to deal with Bitcoin today, you have to be comfortable with a certain amount of risk. All right? And really the way that it's being dealt with today is not as a spendable currency, but as more as an investment or a speculation platform. I mean, why are most people dealing with Bitcoin today? I mean, obviously you've got the encryption guys, the crypto anarchy guys who want to bypass the whole monetary system. That's fine. You obviously have the
wait. I'm going to stop you. It's not
okay.
They're not crypto anarchists. That's not the currency anarchist guys. That's not who's using it. One of the perks of dealing in Bitcoin is the same reason that I would hand you $10 in cash versus sending you $10 using my credit card. It's completely anonymous, and it's a transaction between the two of us. No one else needs to be involved in that transaction. Me pulling $10 out of my wallet and giving it to you doesn't need to be involved by the IRS or any other institution for that matter. So
you're right. So people who want to bypass the
Gentlemen,
system.
music. We have to break. Bottom of the hour, and we'll continue on. We're talking about Bitcoin. Our guest, Michael Miller, Charles Tendell, my co-host. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of the Spree Fitness Monitor. Now, the Spree Fitness Monitor is a Bluetooth Smart or Bluetooth LE, meaning iOS only, module in a rubbery headband that relays body temperature, heart rate, and other data to an app that, once you set it up, shows calories burned, distance, speed, and exercise time. You can set goals. We try not to. Also, the choice of Bluetooth Smart isn't especially smart, since it eliminates more than half the handsets out there from working with it, at least for now. Until Bluetooth LE becomes a reality on Android, only iPhones and iPads will work with this. The headband is comfortable, and for many people, more convenient than other wearable tech alternatives. So bottom line, if you want to be your own trainer, a Spree Fitness Monitor can help you track your activity. This is Marty Winston at the News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Stupid button. And thank you for that News Tips Bulletin, Marty. I was wondering. Are we sure Bluetooth LE still is not on Android devices? I thought the S5 brought that to them, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I have to do some research, but that's cool. You know,
Marty is pretty accurate when
I know Marty's a genius. You know. But welcome back to the Computer America Show. We're 33 minutes after the hour. Craig and I are talking to Mike Miller about Bitcoin and some other fun stuff. If you've got a question, comment, you want to harass me, you want to harass Craig, who is slowly but surely turning the same color as his lower third there, but it's okay. Give us a call, 347-884-8881. That number again, 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Or join us over our live interactive add-on chat room at computeramerica.com. I'm there. Mike's there. Craig is hanging out here somewhere. I'm not sure which one of the people that he is. I don't know who it is.
You didn't make a comment about my shirt today.
Oh, I'm trying to mix it up. I mean, you know, like sometimes I comment about your shirt, but now
You're not the next 2 weeks you're going to be here. You might as well make it now.
I know. I'm still fascinated by it. Mike, have you seen the weird Close Encounter of the Third Kind lamp that Craig has in his house?
No, I have not.
Watch it. Watch. He's gonna start talking, and he's got this lamp that. See? Did you see his video? Watch. It's weird. It slowly illuminates over his head, and I keep expecting aliens to come around the corner
and then
probe him. Wait for it.
Yep. And it's gone.
Between that and the never dying McDonald's burger back there by his printer back there, it's kind of weird.
That little hamburger there in the corner, that's actually a telephone.
No, it's really a McDonald's burger that he got 30 years ago.
I just
sat it down. It was in a box.
Somebody gave that to me. Just not too. My wife gave me that.
I'm telling you, one of these days you're gonna have to be talking on that phone so you can prove it.
Okay.
Anyway, Mike and I were talking about Bitcoin, and we were talking about the fluctuations and how this can be integrated as a real currency. And on one hand, you're right; it is a fluctuating thing, but it's not just for the anarchists of the world who just want to stick it to the man. It is the only way you can actually make a transaction online completely anonymous. Just you and the person you're sending that Bitcoin to know who you are. It's no longer about I need me and third-party processor who's going to charge me $2 and bank that's going to get their cut and Fed who's going to get their cut. No, I want to send Mike Miller or Craig Crossman $50. I want them to get $50. That's what they're going to get. Now I don't want to have to pay Tom or Billy or anyone else, and I don't want anybody to know why I'm giving you $50. It would be the same as me approaching you on the street and saying, "Hey, I want to buy, that gold watch you got hidden in your shirt there. Here's my money." I know probably a bad example because people use it for crime, but it's not that bad.
Well, I agree with you that those are the benefits, many of the benefits of Bitcoin. There are some more benefits too, but for the average person, I'm talking about my aunt or the guy who lives down the street, I think this is probably all mitigated by two factors. One is, hey, it's technology, I'm scared. The other thing is, what's a Bitcoin worth? It's worth a different price today than it is tomorrow. So the extreme fluctuations that we have, I think, make it unworkable for the average person today. I don't think it's always going to be that way. I think once the pricing settles down, that and the technology obviously makes it, the interface developments make it a lot easier to deal with. Yeah, I think that's a different story, whether that's 3 months from now or 3 years from now. But so you look at who's using it today. So obviously you have people who don't want to be tracked, which it has, it means the criminal element to some degree. I mean, if you want to deal in drugs, this is the currency you want to use. I mean, it's just, hey, that's what you do. The other people who are dealing with it big time today are speculators and investors, financial gamblers. I mean, whatever you want to call the people who are doing it. Because, I mean, you buy $500 worth of Bitcoin and you hope that tomorrow it's worth $600, and that's, what the investor class likes to deal with.
Mike, are you saying that the Bitcoin is becoming the currency of the nefarious? I mean, criminals?
It has has.
Has.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm really hoping that in your book you're touching on both sides of it and not focusing on the fact that there have been some nefarious characters out there who are using it for that.
No, I'm not saying that only criminals use Bitcoin, but I'm saying that if you are dealing with drugs online or whatever it is, that Bitcoin is probably your currency of choice.
But see, here's the problem. That's what the mass media puts it on. That's the spin that everybody puts it on. Hell, with the Mt. Gox collapse, they were trying to say, well, look, this is why he collapsed, because he was drug trafficking or doing everything else and so on and so forth. And it's what people do with the currency is not a representation of the currency. That's like saying guns kill people. Guns kill people.
No, that's absolutely true. But I'm just saying, asking the question, who's using it today? And a certain percentage of the user base are people who are doing transactions they don't want tracked, right?
Right.
No, that does not make Bitcoin good or bad. It has nothing to do with Mt. Gox. I agree with you. The Mt. Gox thing got blown way out of proportion. It was, bad security. bad coding, however you want to put that, on their part that allowed themselves to get hacked. And here's an interesting thing. In one of the chapters in the book, I actually go through and I start going through all the news releases about Bitcoin. And there's positive news releases. There's bad news about Bitcoin. But what I find is interesting is a lot of the naysayers, most of the naysayers, are people who have a heavy investment, so to speak, in the traditional financial system.
There you go.
Warren Buffett does not like Bitcoin. Okay, the guy, what's his name, Jamie whatever, who the big investment crook in New York, he does not like Bitcoin. I mean, the whole Wall Street class at this point in time does not like Bitcoin because it is a threat to what they do. It's going outside the traditional financial system, and there
would be absolutely no reason with Bitcoin in its current institution, if Bitcoin became widely adopted by every consumer on the planet or by a mass collection of consumers, those consumers would not go to these tools to invest their money, to give them anything else. There's no way for them to charge them. There's no way for them to fine them or fee them to death, and that's what they're afraid of. Bitcoin is a threat to a stable economic system because it's something new, it's something different, and it's something that they haven't figured out how to make money off of yet.
Yeah,
that's right.
Warren Buffett is not looking at to make. I mean, he's pretty much. I mean, why would he?
Right. Warren Buffett isn't against Bitcoin. He just doesn't care. He's like, yeah, whatever. It's Bitcoin. I wouldn't invest in something that's like that. But I understand Warren Buffett's perspective. He is a long-range investor. Warren Buffett doesn't play short-term stock markets. He plays long-range investments. And Bitcoin right now, in his mind, is a short-range investment. The fluctuations and everything else. But when it does finally click over to being a full-on currency that is actually being widely adopted, it's going to be a long-term investment. And I bet you when that happens, you'll see people like Warren Buffett jumping on the bandwagon, and they will bring up ways for them to capitalize on Bitcoin institutions.
Well, what would happen if Warren Buffett decided to, or someone like him, to buy, let's say, 1 million Bitcoins? Not $1 million, just buy 1 million Bitcoins. What would that do?
Well, there aren't 1 million Bitcoins, are there, Charles? What's the number that's out there right now?
I honestly don't know. I know doesn't the Fed currently controls 800,000, so just under 1 million in Bitcoin that they seized from Silk Road.
That's right. I was just trying to remember. Yeah, the interesting thing about Bitcoin is there's a self-imposed ceiling on how many can ever be produced when you get down to the technical details, which is kind of interesting. But
okay, so then my point is that there's only so many. Let's say someone like him or someone like him went out and bought every Bitcoin that he could get his hand on. So he owned most all of them. Then what would happen? Would be
same thing that would happen. Well, with the exception of what the Fed does now. When the Fed runs out of money, when they run out of when the currencies are gone, when it's all used up, when somebody has too much of it, they just print more. Which, as we've seen in the physical economic world in Egypt and everywhere else, that just drives the value of that piece of paper down and down and down and down. With Bitcoin permanently having a set value for them, not a set value, a set number of them. That fluctuation, like when it first started, I mean, I think you and I were talking about it when Bitcoin first came out, and I was like, dude, I should totally get on that. If I drop $100 in Bitcoin right now, it's going to turn into something great later. But that's an investment. But we're talking about, for lack of a better phrase, we're talking about two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, but if you can't make more of them, and he buys most everyone that's out there, there's only a few, paltry, maybe 100 of them floating around. He's bought them all. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, what can he do?
He controls the market. He controls what they're going to be valued for. He can control what he can sell them for. But I don't think he could buy all of them. What just happened here?
What?
And why would you want to at that point? Then what value does it have if you have them all? What can you do with them if you have them all?
It doesn't matter. Like I've got $10 million Bitcoin. Okay, you're the only one with it. It's not cool anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
But it is theoretically possible, because it is a limited system. It would be theoretically possible for one individual or entity to buy up every single Bitcoin. Now, theoretically possible and probable are two different things. But that could happen here. Of course, it's not going to happen here.
Would that wipe it out? I guess that's what, or would that be
Yes, in theory, because it'd be the same thing with economics in any type of currency. If I owned the mint, right? If I owned the mint and then all of a sudden was like, I'm not producing any more money and all the money is coming to me, that means everyone else in the world has to find another way for you to buy things and to do things and to trade things and so on and so forth. So it's either I go and this dollar now is worth $1,000. In order for me to acquire that $1, I need to have $1,000. People are going to find alternate means for doing something, and that $1, that $1,000 bill isn't going to be worth much because no one's going to come after it.
Yeah, I think maybe a better analogy would be something collectible like, I don't know, Major Matt Mason action figures from the 1960s. There are only a limited number of them produced, and nobody's making them anymore, haven't for decades. If somebody a collector went and bought all the Major Matt Mason action figures, what does that do to that collector's market? There still might be people who want it, but if the guy's not selling, it just essentially evaporates it in that case.
Okay. Makes sense. So it's not a good thing for them to do then.
No, Mike, I don't know whether you've been following. There was a story last week or the week before about everybody was overhyping that Bitcoin has reached its saturation point, and we're like, no, it hasn't, because one Bitcoin trading organization or one series of miners has control of, at one point it was 43% and it creeped up to the 50% mark, and they were saying now they control it, it's going to collapse. But in the interest of the currency, this organization announced and said, look, we don't have over 50%, we have around 40%. You guys are blowing this way out of proportion. But that was the worry, that with 50%, with them having control of most of the Bitcoin out there, or at least half of all Bitcoin out there, that it was going to cause the market to collapse. And it hasn't. What's the current Bitcoin value? $600 a Bitcoin now?
Yeah, it's been there for a week or two. Yeah.
So you bought one Bitcoin for $100, you would have made $500 profit.
Oh, well, and here's why I say that, at least today, who is Bitcoin attractive to? And it's attractive to financial speculators, investors, whatever. Probably not the Wall Street guys, because there's really no way to game the system, and they like to game the system, and they like to make money on the fees and the this and the that, and they buy the IPO before anybody else can buy the IPO, so they like to game the system. And in Bitcoin, there's really no way to game the system at this point in time, but it is a legitimate speculation, just as you would buy Xerox stock or funds for your 401k or whatnot. You buy it with the hopes. Maybe not the expectation, but certainly the hopes that the price is going to go up. So if you would invest, $5,000 in Bitcoin, let's do it even, $6,000 in Bitcoin. So you would buy, 10 Bitcoin today?
Yep.
You would do so with the hope that sometime in some time period, whether that you measure that in months or years, that the value is going to go up, and then you would compare the value of that investment and the risk of that investment with other ways that you could have invested your $6,000. And certainly, if you would have invested $6,000 in Bitcoin a year ago or 2 years ago, you would say pretty darn good investment at this point in time, because it went up a lot. Is it going to continue to go up at the rates that it has gone up over the past couple of years? What do you think, Charles?
Well, with the adoption of Bitcoin on places like Expedia and everywhere else, when it comes to somewhere like Walmart, we're going to see the value of Bitcoin fluctuate probably one more major time. Now, I can't say whether it's going to go up or it's going to go down, but when it becomes acceptable as a day-to-day currency, and we've got a couple of companies out there that are trying to give you a Bitcoin debit card that makes it possible for you to make a transaction, make an actual cash payment transaction in Bitcoin by just swiping a card. And once that happens and it becomes widely available, we're going to see this movement of Bitcoin, and I'm hoping it's in a positive light.
Jack in the chat room says that the limit of Bitcoin is 21 million. There are 21 million Bitcoins that are hardwired into the protocol.
Yeah, and they haven't all been produced yet. I mean, a new Bitcoin gets produced when somebody trades an old one. an existing one. That's kind of what Bitcoin mining is in a nutshell, that somebody has to check and verify that transaction, has to spend the computing power to do that. As a reward for spending the computing power to verify the transaction, they get a new Bitcoin. And that's how new Bitcoins get created. But there is a limit based, built into the system, that when it hits 21 million, there won't be any more. That's it. So then we'll have to deal with the existing. But I think at current levels, I mean, it's going to be like 10 years before they would hit that. The way
It
the mining
could
is
all
going.
just be a fluke from this, or one giant hoax from this random Japanese guy that no one has ever heard from. Where there's 20 million Bitcoin in the world, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen, I have all of them. They're coming out slowly, and I was playing with it as a joke, and you all took to it really well. And now I'm just going to turn it off. Have a good one. Like Bitcoin value drops to nothing.
But we were talking last month, Craig. I mean, you were asking the question, well, how is it regulated? How come somebody can't just make their own Bitcoin out of thin air? And there's a lot of behind the scenes technical stuff that kind of makes this self-regulating, which is kind of fascinating when you get into the details of it. But I mean, Charles is right. This is actually a little bit more regulating than traditional currencies. Now, what you don't have with this is any protections. There's no FDIC out there, guaranteeing and ensuring that if your Bitcoin exchange goes under, you're still going to have, your money. That doesn't exist here. So that's the element of risk that we don't have with traditional currencies. But in terms of kind of regulating things, this was part of the design of it. It's kind of an intellectual challenge. Almost a game. How can we build this thing that's going to be self-regulating and be invisible and whatnot? And it's it's done with technology and encryption and everything else, and it seems to be working. Now, like I said, there's no guarantees and there's certainly no protections. You can lose your Bitcoin here. There's nobody going to be protecting you. So that's the element of risk that the average person dealing with here would have to deal with.
Now, that brings up a great question. Does the insurance factor actually matter? Because look at all the stuff that's FDIC insured. Right now, you as a consumer are still responsible for fraudulent charges if you can't prove that charge was fraudulent. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to make sure that your money stays your money. And let's face it, how out of the three of us, how much cash do we actually all have in our wallet right now? Like physical money in our wallet right now.
Hold on. Let's see.
How much Craig's pulling out his wallet?
How much you have?
Zero. There's absolutely no cash in my wallet.
Oh, here, here's my wallet.
No.
Craig's got stripper money.
Yeah, well, Craig's the host of the show. We know where the big bucks go here.
Right? Yeah. Craig has all the money.
Yeah, I've got less than zero in my wallet. I've got invisible negative dollars in my wallet.
I got money. See, look at that.
Craig, I think now I should be getting paid for this job. That's what I think is happening now.
Now what we want to do is publish Craig's address.
Right? Craig lives at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. That's what I'm saying, though. All of our currency now is already completely digital. Like, I don't do transactions often enough now in cash, and it actually, frankly, makes me feel uncomfortable.
Wait, you mean when you go, you and your wife go to the mall and you go to the food court?
The what?
The food court, and buy a Chick-fil-A.
What's that?
And buy a Chick-fil-A.
They all take credit cards, Craig.
They do. I can take credit cards on my phone.
Oh my God.
I don't know any place I have dealt with other than the kid who mows my lawn that doesn't take credit cards.
And it's only because the kid who mows your lawn hasn't been introduced to Square or any of the other ones yet.
Yeah, he'd probably take payment in Bitcoin if I gave it to him.
I'm telling you, he'd be like, "Yo, you want to get paid in Bitcoin? How does that work?"
Oh boy.
Okay. I mean, literally, our transactions, our employees don't get paid in cash. Our employees get paid electronically. We never physically see the cash that transacts anymore, ever. All it is now is transfers of ones and zeros, of bits and bytes from one banking institution to another banking institution. Bitcoin, takes that to a whole nother level. It takes the tangible, because honestly, do you really need cash anymore? Do you need it? Well, I know Craig does because he's got to put those strippers through college. But you know, what's gonna happen when you go to your favorite joint and all of a sudden the stripper's like, I don't take cash anymore. You pay me in Bitcoin.
Or you have to swipe her. As the
that's horrible. Yeah. That brings all sorts of interesting visions to you.
Yeah, we could go on with that, but
where is she keeping the card reader at?
Exactly.
Well, you put your card in the slot and you move it.
This is a family show.
Not
We're talking about credit card My wife works for a credit card processing company. This is I know all about the various machines and the whatnot.
And what do they put a skimmer there? You know?
Oh my God.
Then you're never sure. You know.
But I do find it interesting that as more and more of our transactions have gone electronic, we don't have to physically handle anything. You would think that the cost would go down, wouldn't it? I mean, you're not moving physical stuff around. It's all, bits and bytes. Yet, every time I do an electronic transaction, somebody charges me something for it.
Yep.
And it should be cheaper than if I sent them, pennies in the mail.
That's my thing, though. That's what I'm saying, and that's part of the beauty of Bitcoin, right? In the Bitcoin system, you can actually choose to whether or not you want to give a portion of your transaction back to the network to continue to support it. The infrastructure, the servers, the computers that people are using on there. You can choose that. There is no middleman between me transacting there. Now, to put it in a better perspective, imagine that you and I, Mike, you're selling me your car, right? You've got this hot 64 Mustang, and you're like, Charles, buy it from me. I'm like, okay. We agree on a price, and while standing there, I pull cash out of my wallet, and then all of a sudden, because we're all married, your wife walks over and says there's a transaction fee of $30 that I'm going to deduct from this transaction and put in my purse and walk away. While we all know that the true thing is that she's giving you the $30 and taking the remainder of the money of the car, but that is completely unnecessary. The middleman is no longer needed. It's no longer relevant, and that's who's fighting the Bitcoin revolution right now. They want to maintain being the middleman. You can transact. I can transact from my phone to Craig's phone, even though it's gold and it's an iPhone 5S, directly between us. But now the carrier needs that needs their piece. The internet provider needs their piece. The Fed needs their piece, and everybody needs their fees and everything else to be able to do something that is just a transaction between me and you. And I don't think that's appropriate or fair, and I think that's a great way to use Bitcoin. We transact in Bitcoin on a regular basis, and I'm okay with that because I can keep that Bitcoin. Like, for example, the MacBook Pro that I'm doing that has replaced my other computer. Guess what I bought that with?
Bitcoin.
Now let me pose this to you. The average merchant out there, my wife, I mean, this just hit me, so I'm thinking of this right now. My wife works for a credit card processing company. They sell credit card processing services to small merchants in the area. And across the country, actually. And because these small merchants, they need to hook up, they need to take credit cards, and obviously people take fees. I mean, my wife's company makes a fee, the salesperson makes a fee, the MasterCard makes a fee, First Data makes a fee, et cetera, et cetera. When you start looking at the nail salon down the street accepting Bitcoin, well, they're probably not going to be dealing direct in it. They're probably going to be going through some processor or something, aren't they? And at some point, isn't a third party going to get inserted? Now, I tell you, the people who own the nail salon are never. I mean, they can't pay their own telephone bill, by themselves. They need third parties to help them.
Right, and that makes sense. In that point, that's a willing selection of me having a merchant that does it, but it's still not. Like every Bitcoin cart that you have out there, yes, there is a fee for them doing what they do. They're providing you a service. Got it. Understood. But you have the option not to use them. Like, we don't use a service. Our Bitcoin transactions are direct between us and our clients. Direct. Like it's hosted on our server. It belongs to us. They send it directly to us, not through any third party. Does that add a little complexity on our end? Sure. Could it be easier? Could I pay 10 cents a transaction to have somebody else host it? Sure, but I run a professional hacking company, so it would be silly for me to pay someone else to do something that I have the capability of doing in-house. I understand the salon girls don't have the ability to do the transactions through Bitcoin. They're like, I don't know what this is. But even still, look at the price wars that have happened with just credit card transactions. This guy over here charges 4% simply because he offers you what? Nothing. You know, when like look at all the First Data resellers that are out there, right? You know, the First Data resellers, they on top of the transaction fees that First Data charges you, which is all, by the way, on top of the transaction fees that the credit card companies charge you, you get all of these different fees for what?
Well, I'll tell you what. We got to take we're at the top of the hour. Let's take another break. We'll continue on talking about Bitcoin and maybe a couple other topics. One of the things, Mike Charles gave up his iPhone for an Android phone. I would like to know why he.
Ooh.
Well, this is the
Which one
Computer
is that, Mike?
Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show. And I'm your host,
Craig Crossman.
You know what you need to do next time is you need to mouth that so that it looks like you really said it. It'd just be highly entertaining on the video. Just say,
Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, certified ethical hacker Charles Tendell, and we are talking to Michael Miller.
Yes, we are.
I was like, hey, Craig's going to pick that one up, but he's not. Okay.
When we're talking about Bitcoin right now, and we've done so for the first hour, and we're going to continue to do it because it's an interesting conversation, although hopefully we'll have some time to talk about why Michael Miller gave up his iPhone, buy this, for an Android phone.
Well, you can't tease that and then not, because like...
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Oh, God, this event is going to kill me.
Yeah, exactly. But in the meantime...
Wait, Mike, what did you switch to, an S5?
Yes, I got a Samsung S5. Pretty white case right here.
Oh, all right. We'll talk about it.
And but if you want to, as I get in the information, get on the conversation, 347-884-8881, 347-884-8881. I'll get you on, get you through. Jonathan in the chat room is asking if you sold your Google Glass.
I am pretty close to selling my Google Glass. It is still sitting behind. It's still sitting behind me on the desk doing its thing. But I was actually reached out to by the Google Glass project. They've said, don't give up on us. We've got some good things coming for you. So hang in there.
Oh, you were really miffed the other day.
No, miffed is not the appropriate word. There is a word that I don't think we can say on air, but it rhymes with dist.
You were PO'd. You were PO'd.
I was mad because basically, Mike, Google I/O, the night before Google I/O, the Google Glass Explorer program, mind you, the program is still a beta. You're still classified as a tester. Like, you paid to get into a program where you were contributing, where they took data from you. They expected you to be vocal. They wanted you to demo products and test new things and all this other stuff. And you were reporting back. And we did have powwows. We have them once a month where we go and we say this is what we're doing. So we were part of the team developing and building all of this. And
paying for that privilege too, which I love. How do I get a scam like that going? I want to know. Is there somebody tell me?
What we're going to do is we're going to do a beta test Bitcoin project. But it was so the night before they come out and they say, hey, Glass Explorers, thank you for all your great input. Thank you for everything you've helped us do. We're releasing a new version of Google Glass that has a significant hardware upgrade based on your recommendations. Yes, we know we've been, screwing off the last 4 months and giving you crappy updates. We fixed all of that by upgrading the hardware and everything else, and oh, by the way, you don't get it. I know, and it wasn't even, oh, by the way, you don't get it. It was, we're upgrading the hardware, yay! And it took 40 people saying, great, what's the exchange program? How do I get this in there? Do I send this to you? Da, da, da. And after a bunch, and then they read the article on The Verge where The Verge said flat out that they're not planning on upgrading us. People were losing it. People were like, what is going on? They went straight to the Glass community and went off. And then the Glass Explorer program people came back and said, yes, it's true, we aren't planning on upgrading you. And we were all like, seriously? Seriously? Like, we would have been okay had you come out and said, unfortunately, we can't upgrade you guys because there are now 20 million of you, or however many of them there are. But we do have, a plan in place. They didn't say that. They just outright said, nope, not upgrading you. Thank you for all your help. Goodbye. We felt like we had gotten laid off. All of this work, and and after months of and Mike, I you don't understand. Like when I first got them I got them in January and did not take them off until what, March, May maybe. Didn't take them off. Like I've got here. Look, I'll show you. I am the guy who even bought the full frames, right? Like these replaced my typical specs, right? Like I was wearing them all the time. Okay, and I had become so accustomed to having certain things happen with them, data, all these different updates, and then all of a sudden they did this one piece of software update across the board. Bricking, battery problems, stalls, crashes, just, freezes, like heating up ridiculously. It was bad. And then all of a sudden, like everybody says, we know what the problem is, because the guys like me who had the ADB, we were stripping out things and we were streamlining the designs and everything else, and we made them into a lean system, that didn't consume as much resources, and we were reporting it saying, hey, look, if you guys upgraded the RAM on these things, it probably worked just fine. And we all know that once the RAM or the physical hardware gets upgraded, they stop writing specifically to support the original models, which is what we have. So now we've got developers who are going to leave us in the dust. We don't get the physical hardware upgrade. We basically have last year's iPhone, or we basically have the original iPhone that's no longer supported. Our hardware went end of life, and they didn't even give us an opportunity to upgrade. And I was pissed.
It was really miffed.
I mean, I was pissed so much to the point of, and Mike, we're going to do this, but you switched to an Android phone from an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was so pissed about the Google Glass thing, I switched off of my Nexus 5 back to my iPhone. Yeah.
Well, I guess it wouldn't have been so bad if you hadn't paid for that privilege, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, for me, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me because honestly, I understand what it means when you become an early adopter. Like, I understand that. Like, there's a certain level of risk there. But I didn't buy into an early adoption program. I bought into a test program. I bought into you. I understand. I'm giving you money. You're going to give me this hardware. You're going to give me support. I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to help you develop. We're going to write programs. We're going to design things. We're going to use typical use case scenarios. We're going to talk about it. We're going to market it. We're going to advertise it. It's a joint venture. Sweet. Yeah. They make money. I got jack. Not a cool deal, man. But they did reach out and say, we have plans for you guys. We're not forgetting about you.
And when did you hear that? No, because you read the thing with the official statement. They said, no, we're not updating you. And that's when you really exploded.
Oh, I lost it then.
So what happened? Like, was it a day later or 2 days later?
No, it was the same night. I woke up the next morning to a nice note on Google Plus from the Google Glass people.
Oh, what did it say?
Let me see if I can find it fast. Basically, where'd you go? Hang on. Why do I have pictures of a dog? It's not even my dog, which is what makes it even weirder. So here, my post for the Google Glass thing, and I actually added Jonathan. My post said, "Glass can get bent. What a way to F over loyal people. From thank you to you don't get to participate. I am so pissed." The Google Glass people came back. That was posted on the 24th. So day before yesterday, a couple of days ago. They came to me yesterday and said, "Hi, Charles, we're sorry you feel that way. We're making hardware and software improvements pretty rapidly, and in response to all the great feedback we hear from explorers, instead of waiting for the consumer version of Glass, we're releasing those updates as we go, so we can get feedback on the changes and continue to improve Glass based on what we hear from you. We've rolled out tons of new features based on what you've told us, and you'll continue to benefit from our regular software updates. We'll be here if you have any questions." My response to that one was, "I appreciate your response, and as a business owner, I understand the logistics behind not swapping, but don't leave us hanging. Offer us some sort of upgrade path." They came back with, "We understand we understand where you're coming from, Charles. We're committed to building software for all versions of Glass during the Explorer program, and we don't have any plans to leave our Explorers in the dust. Let us know if there's anything else we can help you with." So it's one of those. I know it's an appeasing statement, but it feels like they've got a plan, at least to me. And
This does not change my growing opinion of Google, that Google is no better than Microsoft, that Google cares more about the technology than it does about the customers.
Yeah, but my thing is this: their company model is "don't be evil."
I think they abandoned that years ago.
Yeah, I have a feeling of that one too.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear them say that anymore, do you? Is that anywhere on the website anymore?
I don't think it is.
At least they haven't changed it to be evil. I mean, let's be clear about that. But Google.
Their PR team. It's their PR team that's changing.
I think from the beginning, these guys, I mean, for Sergey and from the very beginning, they care about the technology. They don't care about the people, the customers. This like, we'll build the technology and then people will buy it because it's such good technology. It's not like, oh, let's build something that the customers want. Now, I think over the years they've done a lot of good things. They've hit it right more often than not. But I think they're really, in this regard, no better than Microsoft. They care about the technology, and if the customers like it, fine, and if not, screw them.
So you're telling me that the PR spin on the "don't be evil" is "don't be blatantly evil."
Don't get caught.
Yeah. I think that was just BS right from the beginning. I don't think they. I don't even think that entered into it. These guys are nerds who are working with code, and no offense to nerds or to people who work with code, but that's what mattered to them. And the fact that people actually started using their stuff, great for them, but I'm not sure that was part of their plan.
I get it now. Jonathan in the chat room says Google's slogan is "Don't be evil." That's actually a beta.
It's a beta. Don't be evil. Beta.
Beta slogan. Okay, good one, Jonathan. That was funny. A beta slogan. Okay.
All right. So I think we beat the Bitcoin one to death, though, and I'm sorry I went on that epic rant on Glass.
And Google will let you upgrade your Glass in Bitcoin on yesterday's rate or something like that.
Right? Yesterday's rate. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Stupid.
So are we finished with Bitcoin? Should we move on, or are we finished with Google Glass? Any comment on Bitcoin?
Hey, Bitcoin is in my opinion, if we're going to cap it off, I think for actual day-to-day use, I think we're still a ways away from that. I know Charles is doing it, and some people are doing that. But for my neighbor, for my aunt, for my daughter-in-law, no, I think that we're a ways away from that. However, if you can accept a certain level of risk and you like playing the money game, you like the speculation, hey, go to it. It's made people some money.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, Mike. Do you yourself personally own any Bitcoin?
I have not yet. I'm just a poor writer. I can't afford Bitcoin. It's $600 a Bitcoin. Now, granted, you do not have to buy whole Bitcoin. You can buy millibits for that matter.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I have not made that plunge because frankly, I'm one of those guys. I'm not that comfortable with the level of risk.
You're right. So
I actually like watching my now. Let me look at this one.
How many?
Was it 598 or something today? Something like that.
My now 5.3231296 Bitcoin.
All right, so you have a little over 5 Bitcoins.
Uh huh.
Okay.
I like watching the fluctuation on it. You know, and we've been stockpiling and just holding on to that one. Like I said, I bought my MacBook Pro with Bitcoin, and I'm about to buy another one with Bitcoin. So, you know, it's fun in my opinion.
Well, you know, here's the deal. If I would have bought Bitcoin when I started writing the book, the price was down around back then was about 550 or so, maybe, and it's up to about 600 now. I could have made some money on it. But here's where I have to overlay. I'm very good at many things. I'm a good writer. I'm a good musician. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. But I know where my skill sets lie. I am not a good painter. And I don't mean like pictures. I mean like walls. I can't seem to hit the wall when I'm painting for some reason or another.
Wow.
That's a skill I don't have. I know it. I admit it. I can't throw a good baseball straight. Okay, I know that. I also am the worst investor in the world. Whenever I invest in something, well, let's put it this way. I had some money back, around 1999, 2000 or so. And I invested it at the time into some .com companies. The day after that is when the .com bubble burst.
Oh,
wow! You're the cause.
I was the guy. I caused that. I mean, so if we're looking for Bitcoin to tank, if there's any way to short Bitcoin, give me some money to buy some, okay? And that will cause the entire thing to collapse. I am the worst investor in the history of the world. So
I think what you need to do is you just need to post something on a blog somewhere saying, "I am going to buy Bitcoin." And and let it propagate through all the major news media, and then buy then everybody else buys it, and all of a sudden,
when Bitcoin first came out, you could buy one Bitcoin for what, $1?
Oh, less. I mean, when Bitcoin first started, it didn't have any value. I mean, and the first value it had was measured in the thousandths of a cent.
So back then, you could have dropped $100 on Bitcoin.
Bought $100 Bitcoin.
Bought up all the Bitcoin in the world back then for $100. Yeah.
And then wait till now, and then all of a sudden, blah blah.
Well, and these are the guys who have made substantial sums. I mean, the people who were doing Bitcoin mining back in the early days, and the early days being, 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, yeah, they've gone from nothing to $600, and, that's a pretty good investment. I'm the guy who tends to buy at the peak and sell at the valleys, if you're looking at the stock charts. So,
yeah.
So really, I mean, you could have you bought $100 worth of Bitcoins when it first came out. I mean, you're ready. That's like retirement money.
Yeah, we can all be like Craig, flashing his big dollar bills, flashing the strip of money.
It's monopoly money.
You can't flash your Bitcoins, though, is the only thing.
That's right. There's no physical entity for
Although
that.
you can put your Bitcoins on a flash drive, but that's something completely different.
Well, no, you can actually buy the physical Bitcoin, the gold Atlas Shrugged looking Bitcoin things. Yeah.
No, that's not the real Bitcoin, though.
They look like it. It's cool stuff.
Yeah. Bitcoin is ephemeral. In fact, you don't even own Bitcoin. All you do is own the transaction, and from that you calculate your own Bitcoin value.
Yeah. My Bitcoin value is 10 million.
Had you bought 100 or 1,000 Bitcoin when it first came out, you'd be in the millions now, would you not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and there are a few guys.
Well,
there's that one guy who accidentally threw away his hard drive with his what was it 700 Bitcoin or something like that.
Something like that. A guy in England, he had it on a computer, and his computer went bad, so he just tossed the hard drive in a desk drawer, and at some point that got tossed into the trash, and it's now laying somewhere in the middle of
somebody's
garbage dump. Yeah, somewhere in England, and there's just no way he could find it. But
is he ringing? Is that wait a minute? Is that an urban myth?
No,
story?
no, real guy. Yeah,
really happened.
And
now he's kicking himself.
How much do you think he lost with those
I think it's a metric buttload.
It depends on when you measure it, but it's in the millions. Yeah,
it's horrible. I know that every time that guy sees Bitcoin go up or down, he's like, "I hate you."
But here's the deal. He had obviously been interested in Bitcoin at the beginning and then lost interest. I mean, he'd kind of forgotten that it was there.
Yeah.
It'd be like forgetting, I forgot that I had $1 million sitting in my safe deposit box in my desk.
Yeah.
If you
toss the desk.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So let's shift gears a little bit here, and let's find out why Michael Miller, author of over 150 books, very happy with his iPhone. All of a sudden, decides to switch to an Android phone? Why?
Now, to be fair, I've made 2 technology purchases in the past since we talked last. One, I had an old Kindle Fire tablet that my grandkids were using, basically, and it finally crapped out. They've got connector problems, and okay. Well, I replaced that with an iPad Mini. Okay, so I went to the Apple infrastructure with this. By the way, I don't think they have them anymore, but right before Father's...
Is that the Mini?
This is the Mini. Not the Mini with Retina display, but just the regular old Mini.
Okay.
Right before Father's Day, Target started it, and then Best Buy and Walmart started price matching. $199 if you could find them. I had to go to like 10 different stores to find one, and which I think is great because I had not bought an iPad before because I thought they were just too damned expensive. You know, at $300 for this, when you can get an Android tablet for $199, I think Apple was just stupid. Well, at $199, they can't keep them in stock. It's a good deal, an iPad Mini at $199. Okay, and I don't get to use it because I have grandkids, and they love it. So what can I tell you about that? But while that was happening, literally the next day, I changed from an iPhone to a Samsung Galaxy X5 Android system. Now, for me, the primary driver was necessity. I write about a lot of technology. And for years, the past couple of years, I write about an application like Gmail. I'm doing a Gmail book right now. And I would also write about the iPhone app because for years, iPhone apps outsold Android apps by a factor of 10 or 20 to 1. So it just wasn't worth writing about Android. We always wrote about the iPhone apps. Well, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, Android as market share went past iPhone's market share. So even though the iPhone itself is still the most popular phone model, the Android operating system became the most popular operating system in terms of market share. But still, iPhone apps outsold Android apps for whatever reason. People with iPhones buy more apps than people with Android phones. But within the past 6 months or so, that has changed, and
that just means that the Apple people have more of a disposable income than the Android people.
Well, that and also Apple does a much better job with their app store in terms of keeping it focused and clean, and that's still the case. But finally, Android hit critical mass. All right. So I've got to write about both. I have to write about the computer app. I have to write the iPhone app. I have to write about the Android app. I didn't have an Android device. The Kindle Fire did not count as an Android device because they screwed it up so much. So I had to buy a new phone. My old phone was about 2.5 years old, so I had to buy an Android phone. Now, as it turns out, I love it. I think it was a great choice.
Wow.
I do like, just in terms of form factor of the phone, I didn't think I'd like the larger screen, putting it in my pocket and stuff, but I do. I think it's a great thing because I use my phone less as a phone and more as a little tablet, I guess.
Let me just ask you: if you've had the iPhone all this time, you're heavily vested in the iTunes and everything because everything. So you gave all that up. You were able
I'm not so heavily invested in iTunes. I run dual media libraries here. In fact, the iTunes media library was a inconvenience to me. I have all my files stored in WMA lossless format. I mean, over how many albums now? 4,000 or 5,000 albums or so. So I'm kind of invested in the Windows media infrastructure also. The iTunes stuff, I kept dual libraries. So.
What about for example, your contacts and everything that you have that iTunes obviously
it transferred over to the Android, no problem. In fact, there are apps that will transfer my iTunes library over to the Android also.
Okay.
Not that I'm doing that because I had more stuff on my Windows library, so it's just as easy.
Okay.
Matter of fact, they make it very easy to transfer over from one system to the next. But the big difference between the systems is that, and it's a plus and minus for both. The iPhone, the iOS system, is kind of a closed system that you use Apple's music player, you use Apple's contacts, you use Apple's this and that, and the trade-off is that they all work very, very well. You don't have to think about it much. I mean, you use AirPlay, you got iTunes, it all works together. You don't have to futz with it. So it's very easy to use, but it's limited. Android, you've got a lot more choices. Just choosing a music player, I've got a half dozen or more really good choices, to choose from, And so I get to decide. It's more like working with a PC in the old days. Well, I want this software program, that software program, whatnot. It's not a closed system. It's very, very open. The downside of that is that, yeah, it's a little more complex to work with. It doesn't just work like an iPhone does. You actually have to, futz with it and make it work and make choices and make some adjustments along the way. So it's kind of a trade-off. But if you're an old-time PCer, I can see the appeal of Android, because it's a lot more customizable, personalizable. That even a word? I don't know, but you can customize it and personalize it a lot more than you can the iPhone. The downside is, well, that takes a little bit more work on your part to make that happen. But like I said, if you're used to doing that on your PC, doing it on the Android, as easy as pie, really.
Now, see, my thing is I'm not a fanboy, so I've got both Apple products, like I've got an iPad Air, and then I've got the top of the line Android tablet, which is the Note 10-1 2014 or whatever it is, and I bounce between the two, and it's really a matter of what it is you intend on doing with your device. Now, my iPhone, I like it. I like the form factor. I like the way it feels. I like the fact that it does just work, and that Apple has learned to do a lot of things very, very well. Like they didn't release things until it's absolutely perfect. Craig, stop showing me your phone. And they didn't release until it was perfect. Like the camera, perfect. There are small little things that I like about it, like the fact that I can swipe up from the bottom from the lock screen and turn on a freaking flashlight. You don't really realize how often you need a flashlight until you don't have one, And on the other hand, where'd it go? I have this guy, which is the Android flagship. The Google Android flagship, which is the Nexus 5, which is their vanilla Android experience device. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's a great device. It's got a lot of things on it that I think are great, and it's got a lot of privacy features that I enjoy a whole lot. Things that you can't get on the iPhone, secure text messaging, secure phone calls, things like that. But it all requires that addition and that extra work. And I'm not saying that I'm lazy or don't like doing the work, because that's not the case. I'm just saying it's a pain. I like it to just work. So sometimes I switch to my iPhone when I'm feeling, just like, I want it to work. And what I've noticed is that things are just cleaner on iOS than they are on Android. Like the apps are designed differently. It's just cleaner on an Android device or on an iPhone on a device.
Well, it's kind of like the difference between dealing with a fast food franchise with very, very tight controls like a McDonald's and dealing with a fast food franchise like Dairy Queen that lets their franchisees do anything they want to. Yeah. Android is the loose franchise. iPhone is McDonald's, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I mean, the thing I admired about the iPhone, and which is great on the iPad for my grandkids, is it does just work. I don't have to add anything to it. It is all there. The Android, I can add a lot to it. I mean, I got a flashlight app now on this. The flashlight was built into the iPhone. I got a flashlight app on this. There's some things I find frustrating on the Android. Like I want notifications to pop up on the lock screen like they do on the iPhone. Yeah. They don't. That's something where the Android operating system is about one version behind iPhone in that regard.
Sometimes they do. I mean, it's all about, and you've got the in terms of the bastardized version, you've got by far the most bastardized version of Android possible with TouchWiz and everything else. Now there are a lot of features that come with TouchWiz, but there's a lot of things that I'm sure you don't even know exist on that device. It's one of those things where you have to kind of know what you're looking for in order for it to really matter. So I mean, on mine, when I have the what you call it, the built-in, when I have on the stock Android experience, I think I do get notifications on the main screen.
Are you sure about? Because I thought that was something they were adding in the they just released the preview version of Android L, I think they're calling it now. That was one of the things they were pushing as being a new thing in Android L.
I could be wrong.
Well,
and again, there are apps you can put in to kind of work around that also. Again, if you're a tinkerer, a lot of the guys who listen to the show, I'm sure they love Android because, you can get in and futz with it, left, right, and up the middle for it.
Yeah.
But by the way, that McDonald's reference that you made, with like iPhone, we won't go into what happened when Charles went back to a McDonald's.
Yeah. It was not a good experience.
No, exactly.
Not at all a good experience. It was kind
Mike
of
missed
depressing.
that one. That episode.
Yeah. Well, I don't eat McDonald's. We started boycotting McDonald's, and we hadn't had it in, oh my God, probably about a year. And for one reason or another, this evening I just could not resist the urge to have that double quarter pounder with cheese. Got it. It was very tasty. Like, texture, it was kind of weird now that I think about it. But then, like 30 minutes later, my stomach was like, "Yes, Charles, you shouldn't have done that."
Yeah, the only time I've ever gotten food poisoning was at a McDonald's, but I also have a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old in the household, so we live at McDonald's basically right now. My 7-year-old, about the only thing he will eat is chicken nuggets, and he's a connoisseur. I mean, the McDonald's chicken nuggets are much different from the Wendy's one, which are different, whatever. So we have to get the right chicken nuggets.
And they are, I'm waiting for the Ruth Chris to come out with the chicken nuggets. Anyway, we're at the bottom of the hour break. We'll continue on. Oh, gee, it's Friday. We got to do a show reminder one of the week. We got to do that too. That's all coming up here on the Computer America Show. Mike Miller, our guest. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channel in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. It includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Hi, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with the News Tips Bulletin Review of the StarTech ST4300 U3C3 4-port USB 3 hub with 3-port charger. Now, I have been personally frustrated with underpowered powering devices, so this is going to get just a little geeky. The wall wart that comes with this is rated 12 volts at 3000 milliamps. The power spec on the 4 USB 3 ports, 900 milliamps each. The 3 dedicated charging ports are rated at 1 amp and 1 amp and 2 amps. Doing the math, it needs to deliver 38 watts, a total of 7.6 amps at 5 volts. The wall wart delivers 36 watts, and the sourcing port, the upstream USB 3 port, delivers 4.5 watts. So at last, we seem to have a solution that isn't current-starved. The 4 data-connected ports have status LEDs. The 3 charging ports have an intelligent control chipset that auto-shifts to fast charging mode when appropriate. The whole thing is compact and rectangular, about the size of a protein bar. So bottom line, the StarTech 4-port USB 3 hub, and 3-port charger is a powerfully sweet way to tackle a lot of USB needs all at once. This is Marty Winston at the News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Craig, I have a question.
Yeah.
He was talking. What did he? What was he talking? He was talking about the size of a protein bar, and you went,
Yeah,
Is
I
that
know.
the Homer Simpson kind of protein bar? What was that?
I like protein bars. We're gonna tell.
That's just like you couldn't control yourself. Like, protein bar. Anyway, welcome back to Computer America Show. 34 minutes after the hour, the second hour. Craig and I are talking to Mike Miller. We're talking about Android versus iPhone. We're talking about Craig and his cameo of his gold iPhone 5S. And we're just kind of having a good old time. And I think we're supposed to be doing some announcement stuff, but because we have a musician, I think it's going to help us this time. What do you think?
Well, we can't see because we can see him now. We don't know. We can't do the digital drums unless he actually.
It's over here.
Oh,
He's
so,
got it.
okay, just off camera. Okay.
Just on the edge.
All right, let's do our show reminder winner of the week. Okay, and
Let's do it.
there it is.
He doesn't look too thrilled by it though. There you go.
And this week's show reminder winner for June the 27th is
Mike Miller.
Timmerman. Donna Timmerman, congratulations, you win the Logitech Wireless Rechargeable Touchpad T650. You can, basically, it's a glass surface touchpad from Logitech, valued at $80, and you win it. It's just that simple. Congratulations, Donna. And again, to all of you, if just go to our contest page at computeramerica.com, and you can see all of our contests. We have our Logitech contest. It's under the first pull-down menu. We have a show reminder. We'll just follow the instructions. Everything you need to do to enter is there. Enter in all of our contests. They're all private. They're all free, and you'll have a lot of fun doing it. And who knows, you might win somebody or something really, really nice. And by the way, when you're at our homepage at computeramerica.com, you still have time. We have our limited special offer from Pro XPN. It's right there, right on the homepage. Can't miss it. Click on it, and you'll see the special page we have set up. It talks about Pro XPN. Basically, when you go online, you are in danger, of your identity. Even if you're at home, your internet service provider can monitor where you go and what you do. They can, and if you exceed their guidelines, they can block whatever it is you may be doing. But with Pro XPN, you don't have to worry about any of that. Okay, they're not only hosted here in the U.S., but places like Amsterdam, Singapore, London. So when you're online, you actually appear as though you're located in those cities. It's got a 2048 bits encryption, very strong, 512 bits for their encryption tunnel. I use it on my Mac as well as on my gold iPhone 5S. We want you to use it. We really do, because you need it. You want to keep your privacy safe. Even if you have a Mac system, Windows system, it works. We have a special offer on that page. When you click anywhere on that page, it'll take you to the special Pro XPN website, and just enter the code COMPAM, C-O-M-P-A-M. Again, it's all on the page. And when you do, you get an additional 20% off membership. That's right. So basically, if you go for the yearly plan membership, that's less than $5 a month. Really. Look, you need this when you're going online these days. And if you listen to the show, you know this to be true. It's the best VPN I've tried. And again, it's proxpn.com. Use the promo code COMPAM just once for 20% off your membership forever, for life. That's just not the one time. Check it out, proxpn.com. You'll be happy you did. Trust me on this, okay? Talking to Mike Miller, and we're talking about why he not necessarily abandoned the iPhone.
He didn't necessarily abandon it, no.
No, he's not. He's using his Android. Do you think you might go back to it after you do your book, or are you going to stay with it?
I actually like the form factor of the machine. I like the fact that I can put a little micro SD card in it and increase my storage. In fact, that's what I was always running into problems with the iPhone, and still do with the kid's iPad, is you run up against the internal storage limit, especially if you...
What size did you get?
16. Oh no, wait. Is it 16 or 32? Whatever. It's small,
Okay.
but I can add a 32 or 64, gigabyte, micro SD card on this thing, and I put all my music on the SD card. Okay, so I've got all the storage on the machine, on the device, available for apps and whatnot. So that works fine. I mean, I found some weird things on it. Switching from an iPhone to an Android. On an iPhone, when you're doing text messaging, you've got iMessage, where you're essentially communicating via Apple, from one iPhone to another iPhone, as opposed to doing regular SMS messaging, which is great. Well, obviously, with an Android, you don't have that, so you got to use normal SMS messaging. Problem is, if you don't do everything exactly right, people will still keep sending you iMessages, which you now cannot receive, and therefore never receive their messages. So you got to do a little background stuff to make that work out right. I tell you, here's an interesting one. Plus and minus. I drive a Honda SRV, about a year old, so it's got the Bluetooth audio and stuff on it, right? Well, the SRV, the CRV, was designed really with the iPhone in mind. So if I plugged it into the USB port, it actually I could control my iPhone right from the center console, and it show album art and everything, and that was very, very cool. That only works with iPhones, doesn't work with Android.
Wait, what doesn't show with what doesn't work?
When I'm using not the Bluetooth, but when I'm using a USB connection, that on the Honda it's tailored for iPhone. That you got full iPhone control via USB. With this puppy, with the Android, I get nothing via USB.
Yeah.
I can connect via Bluetooth, which is fine, which is wonky sometimes. It's a matter of finding the right app to work with it. But here's something I got in my car with the Android that I didn't have with iPhone, and that's text messaging. On my particular Honda, if I receive a text message on an Android, not an iPhone, but on an Android.
Yes. What happened? Uh-oh.
Oh, we've got a still picture of Mike Miller.
Did we just lose Mike? It's because he went to an Android phone. That's what happened. Oh,
he shouldn't be penalized for praising Android. We're using Google Hangouts, for crying out loud.
I know. Mike, come back.
Mike, come back. Mike. Meanwhile, did you see the picture he changed to? I like his lower third picture.
Yeah, he changed it, by the way. I noticed that. He changed it. Maybe that's what happened. He changed his lower third. And
Google was like, what are you doing, Mike?
Well, hopefully Mike will come back, and we'll go from the or he's still talking and he hasn't realized.
I'm betting you he's still talking and he doesn't realize it. That would be a funny one. Yeah, he's still talking and it's a great. When he comes back, actually, wait, when he does finally come back, we're like, that's a great explanation, Mike.
Well, hopefully we'll get him back here momentarily.
Maybe. Come back, Mike. Come back.
Mike. Or maybe, maybe his internet went down. That's possible.
I hope his internet didn't go down. Maybe maybe we should call him. Use the show call-in feature and call him.
Use the show. Oh, okay. You mean all right?
Use the dialer app.
Well, all right. I will use the dialer app and I'll see if we can get him back. This is.
Oh, we're gonna prank call Mike. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna call him. We're gonna prank call Mike.
What are we gonna do? Tell how? Doing what?
I'll do it. You just call him and I'll prank call him.
Oh, you want me to call him? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I have to call him. Hold on, I gotta get his phone number in here.
Don't say it out loud.
I'm not gonna say it out loud. I just need to get it. Oh, here it is. Okay, so now I got his number. By the time we do this, hopefully he'll be back in before we do it.
I hope not. This is gonna be entertaining if it works.
Okay, hold on. I got it now. Okay. And we're dialing. Let's see. Okay. And there you go.
Okay, shh, Craig, be quiet.
Hello?
Yes, this is Mike Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Miller, this is David Barry with Google support. We understand you're having problems with the Hangout.
I'm having trouble with my internet connection.
Oh.
Running on Google Fiber? I've lost my internet connection here at home for some reason or another.
Well, we figured we just...
Craig, you're messing it up, man!
totally had him. Totally had him. He was like, what?
We're calling you back because we figured you were having Hangouts problem, Mike. So it's Craig and Charles.
Hangout may be working for all I know, but certainly I've lost my internet connection here at home. I don't know what the deal is.
Well, your phone is working, so at least we got you back. And
well, that's fine. The phone works fine for me if it works for you guys.
Yeah, it does. How far did you get into your explanation before you realized that it had dropped? You know, we were figuring.
I have no idea. So
Okay.
all of a sudden, you guys just froze on screen, which is fine. But
I mean, Craig sits awfully still all the.
Yes, I do. Exactly. All right, so let's go back. You were talking about when you get into your Honda, was it the Honda, and with Android, and one of the things that you do like is the text messaging. You said that did not work with
it's got a cool little thing where it will actually pick off the text messages and read them back to me in a little robotic voice, which is wonderful. And will even let me send, by push button, some canned replies, like I'm in the car right now, or okay, or buzz off, or whatever the canned replies are. And that was not available for iPhones.
Really?
In the Honda, but it is available for Android.
So that's nice. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. Like most vehicles do that. Like my I've got Bluetooth in all of my classics, and I've got a particular receiver that I fell in love with, and it can't be used as a like when I plug in my Android phone. I can't. I don't think. Well, no, I can. I can control the forward and the back, and I can get basic displays of the music from what's on the phone if I connect it via USB, and I think if I connect it via Bluetooth. With my iPhone, I get the same functionality, but I get it as a plus. Like I get like scrolling messages, I get play times, I get a whole bunch more features. So it's like they're pushing more information from the iDevice than they are from the Android device to your car stereo, which is kind of entertaining.
Yeah. Now I see. Jack in the chat room, Michael wants to know if your refrigerator is still running now that you've lost internet connection. Exactly. It's amazing how much we rely on the internet, and when it goes, it really is a tragedy. I mean, when we lose...
in fact, it's just coming back up for me now. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, because it's interesting because when we lost internet here just for a few hours, there you are. All right, you're back in the. Yeah, he's back in the Google Hangouts. I'll tell you what.
Hey, hang on a second and let me switch over to the microphone here.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We're back. We are back.
We're back. It was we lose our phones. We lose so much of the stuff that we rely on every day because it's all internet related.
And then who do you call about it if you can't call anybody about it? It's like even though I have a dedicated phone line, which still works more or less, I don't have a phone book. So if I were to look up, so I got to contact my cable company to get my internet fixed. Well, I'd have to get on the internet to connect to talk to my cable to find out the cable company's phone number. I'd be totally hosed.
I anticipated that. I put my cable company's number in my iPhone, so I have that. So, and it's wonderful because my iPhone has a different area code than where the cable company services. So every time I call on my iPhone, it says, "We're sorry, we don't service people in your area." And, but if you, yeah, it does. And I figured, oh no, but if you hold on, it says, and then it comes in and it goes. Now I had a similar problem with AAA. I mean, I would call. I was in another. For example, I'm registered in Florida. That's my home really, and we have a vacation home here in North Carolina. But when I was in North Carolina and I had a car trouble, I used AAA, and I told all the explanations, "Where are you?" And they said, "Oh, we don't service that area." And they had to connect me to the North Carolina. So what happens is that they're trying to be efficient, but in that efficiency, they run into troubles because area codes really today, people have cell phones, they have other things. It doesn't necessarily reflect where you truly are.
No, not at all. Even though, I mean, your phone does have location services built in, but it doesn't translate to the phone number, which is how most of the lookups are, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that can cause a problem. So you continue on. So you have your Android phone and no longer the iPhone. Now, do you think you might go back to the iPhone, or are you going to stick with the Android?
I don't think so. I like the Android the way it is. I like the features on the phone. I mean, I'm a tinkerer, you know. I'm a old computer guy. I like messing with stuff, and I'm going to try out this app and this app and this app and that sort of thing. I was not that locked into, personally, I was not that locked into the iTunes or the iPhone infrastructure. I know a lot of people are. I mean, my son-in-law has an Apple TV, and he's got all his pictures up in the iCloud, and they use AirPlay.
Yeah, okay. And
and he's gone again, ladies and gentlemen.
If you took away...
Are you there, Mike?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I can see you. So
you fade in and out. I believe that's your internet is stabilizing. Because so he has AirPlay and what else?
And an Apple TV and all that. So I mean, he's wedded to the Apple infrastructure. If you took away his phone, his iPhone or his iPad, he would be totally lost. He'd have to transfer everything over. I was not that wedded to I didn't want to be that wedded to it. That was one of the things I didn't like about Apple, is to, you know, you're pledging your heart and your mind and your future children, you know, to the Apple infrastructure. I didn't want to do that. I don't like that with any company.
Yeah.
Apple, Google, Microsoft, whoever.
By the way, I like you changed your lower third, but now your lower third is back to the old one.
Yeah, that's weird. When it went out of the Hangout, it came back to the old one.
Maybe
yeah.
you have to save the new one.
Yeah.
So all right, so Android now, but of course you realize that the iPhone 6 is just around the corner. So you have this Android. What if you like the iPhone 6? What's going to happen?
Yeah, you know, in spite of being a technology guy and having to upgrade a lot because of the books I write, left to my own devices, when I find something that works, I don't need to always have the latest thing. So I don't think that's going to bother me. I don't think that's going to bother me at all. I said that, you know, the larger size has taken a little bit of getting used to. I certainly like the larger screen. It's funny now because I still have my old iPhone. My kids are using it. My grandkids are. They use everything in the house, so what the heck. And going back to that old iPhone, it's like, ooh, this feels weird. You know, because it's got about the same weight but in a smaller device, so it actually feels heavier than the Galaxy does.
Well, it's more solid, yeah.
Well, and you could put it that way. I mean, one of the downsides of this thing is it does not feel as sophisticated as the iPhone does. It feels a little cheap and plasticky sometimes.
Okay. But wait, have you been to the movies recently? I don't know if you have you gone to the movies recently, or I know you're not a big movie buff, but they have one of these trailers in the movies where the guy is. I think they have it on TV though. I've seen the commercial where the guy is talking about his cellular phone, and he pulls out this old phone. And so what if you want to press the 4? But what if you need a 5 or something? I don't know if you saw that. The guy goes, "Nice phone."
Nice phone, man.
But that the customizability of Android translates to the phone. I mean, I can take the back off of this. I can replace the battery. I don't have to take it anywhere. I can replace the battery. I can put in an SD card. I can put in different SD cards if I want to. Can't do that with the iPhone.
You can't.
This thing is like having an old desktop or an old tower PC. You can swap things in and out. You can't do that with an iPhone.
No, you're absolutely correct. What kind of battery is it? It's not like a 9-volt. It's some sort of special battery, though, right?
Yeah, no, it's just a little Energizer, a couple AAAs. that makes it work. Oh, you think that's cheap? No, I don't think so. I'm taking it apart here.
Exactly. So these are all the reasons why you like the Android phone, then.
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
Now, again, you got to work at it. As Charles said, this is not like the iPhone where everything just works. Here's the inside of my phone. There's the battery. There's the little SD card right there. Just boom, 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 in and out.
Let's see. Yeah. And that's the camera right below the battery?
Yes.
I'm telling you, Craig, you need to call up Samsung and say, we're Computer America. We're having a phone challenge. My co-host is going to switch to running an Apple device for however long he can stomach it, and in turn I have to run an Android device for however long that I can stomach it, and so they send you a Galaxy S5, and when you hate that phone, you can send it to me.
I see.
Okay. I'm telling you, it'd be a great show. Oh no, you get it. You tell everybody about it. You give an objective review about it, and then you give it away.
Yeah, I could do that too, but I'm waiting for the 6 because I think that's going to be because that's what Apple does. They go the 4, the 4S, and the 5, and the 5S, and now they're going to have. I'm sure they come out with the 6, and of course maybe an iWatch. By the way, you notice that what I'm not wearing. By the way, what's missing again? Look, I got a watch. Yeah.
Oh God! Did you drop it in the toilet again?
No, it malfunctioned, so I had to send it back to manufacturers. It's been in the box for like 15 years. And when I put the new battery in, you're not supposed to do that, so I had to send it back to them. So I'm going to be up without a watch for about a couple of weeks.
Well, you'll have to use your phone then. I still think the iWatch, the electronic smartwatch, whatever, is just one of the dumbest ideas. You're selling something that people don't use anymore. Hey, we've got the new iBuggy Whip,
Whoa, I like that.
I'm honestly looking forward to having the Moto 360 because I would definitely rock that. I mean, it's something that's going to be. Let me find
a nice looking watch.
It looks like it's a decent size. It doesn't look like it's completely nuts, and I don't have anything on my desk that I can do it as.
Well, you go to the website and just go share the page with everybody. You can see it.
Yeah, actually, I could do that. Let me find the Moto 360
because they've got some nice photos of this watch, and it looks like a regular round analog watch, but it's not. It's completely digital, and it looks very, very nice, and it will work with the Android phone that you just purchased. Mike, so this might. Now, do you wear?
But I have not worn a watch since I left the corporate world 15 years ago. I do not wear a watch, and I don't know anybody who does anymore. This is a fashion statement.
You know me, okay? I wear a watch.
You're wearing braces. You're wearing braces too. Come on now.
Okay, so here's the splash page they've got for loading the Moto 360, and on the left you can see the mock-up. But we did find out at Google I/O that is indeed what it's going to look like. That band that you see right there.
Yeah.
Right. That is actually what it's going to look like. Now it's not tiny in any respect, but it's not huge either. And
by huge, you mean it's not the size of a minivan. It's more the size of a compact car.
This is more the size of a silver dollar on your wrist, maybe. So far, and I've seen guys wear way bigger watches than that.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, look at this thing. This is gorgeous. This is definitely something I'm going. When it comes out, it's mine. There's I didn't learn my lesson with the early adoption with Google Glass, but yeah, this is mine. And I mean, just being able to look down at my watch and see all of the stuff that I would want to see, that I wanted to see on my Google Glass, that is amazing. That to me is perfect. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, time, weather, sweet. Get a text message, check it out. Calendar meetings, time to go to my next step. That is beautiful.
And it's not that. I mean, I see regular analog watches that it's fashionable and they're about that size. So it's a nice looking watch. It really is. But it's all digital.
It sounds to me that Apple anyway is going after the sports market with this. That they're going to be building in whatever to count your steps and measure your heart rate and your retina size or whatnot. And maybe there's enough of a market in the sports market to make it worthwhile. But I think this is going to it's not going to set the world on fire. It's not.
Like the iPad.
Yeah, it's not going to make a new market out of things like the iPad did. Now I could be wrong. If I invested money in it, you would be sure that I would be wrong.
Don't invest any money in it, please. Okay. Give this thing a chance.
What's that you said, Mike? You're investing in the new iWatch? Is that what you said?
We're in trouble.
But and again, Apple always surprises us. But between that and the so-called iTV or smart TV that Apple, they keep saying Apple's going to come out with. I'm not sure Apple will ever come out with that one.
Yeah.
I don't think Apple's got the stomach to play in the real consumer electronics market and the kind of margins that they have there. But but again, who would have said that tablets would have been a big thing also, because other people have done tablets before and Apple did them right.
Yep, exactly. Well, Mike, listen, we're pretty much out of time. Again, the time just flies by. This is a lot of fun, and it's always enjoyable having you here on the show. And
letting me advertise my financial investment advisor services. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. That's a good thing to know. and I guess we're going to see you again on the last month. By the way, you'll be since you're on the last Friday of the month, you'll always be with Charles Tennell, because Charles is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Ben's going to be with me Monday and Tuesday starting next month. So that's our new co-host share schedule plan for.
So you're bi-hostal then, okay?
Bi-hostal.
Now that he was before then, weren't we for a time there? We were trying quad hostal.
Yeah, it got kind of hostal out, you know.
Mike, didn't you play co-host for a little bit too?
Not that I remember, but it's possible that I did, but I don't remember it.
I don't think so. Mike was one of the correspondents. I don't think we ever got to that. But the point is, anyway, it was
90 seconds.
It was really enjoyable. Stay to the end so we can do our after the show video with us, Mike. In the meantime, we got the weekend coming up, and then on Monday in the first hour, we're going to have a company called Doodle on the show.
I got.
Yeah, Doodle. Okay. It's a free service. They have some premium products. But it'll help you save time. This is a really cool little thing called Doodle. It's a Swiss product, and it's being imported into the U.S.
60 seconds.
So we'll talk about that. And of course, in the second hour, Computer and Technology News brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So have a great weekend, everybody. Catch a movie, do something fun, and we'll see you on Monday. Charles, you'll be back with us in 2 weeks, all right? So best of luck.
I might call and check in like I normally do.
All right, well, that's cool. You're always welcome to it, okay? And we will see you on Monday night, okay?
Oh, that was a question. Yes.
Yes. So until Monday night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you Monday night. Say goodnight, Charles.
Good night, Charles.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, so we were out of the broadcast, but we still have our live video chat going, brought to you by Otherworld Computing. And I guess we'll see you when let's see. No, Mike, it's going to be in July. You'll be with us when? You'll be July the 25th.
Yeah, right near the end there sometime.
Yeah, right near the end. So listen, have a great 4th.
And if you don't hear from me, I'll be down in the basement playing drums. So.
That's it, exactly. Well, now that I know that, we'll make sure. Say, hey, go get him. He's playing drums.
Don't worry. My wife knew I was playing drums. My neighbors a couple miles away knew I was playing drums. So.
All right. So good night to everybody for watching, and have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. All right. So good night, all.
See y'all.